I think it's important for companies to bring conversations that start online into the real life, because this is what agencies do. So we're trying to deliver meaningful conversations for brands, stuff that people talk about. So okay, you can start something in social media, people will be talking about it, people will be sharing it, you have a lot of views, a lot of shares, a lot of likes and so on. But finally, I think the most important thing, if you manage to take the conversation and move it into the real world. So make people talk about it also in the real world, so they can do something with their friends, they can do something with their families, because that's when they buy the product after all. No? So what we did was an experiment. We took a shepherd, a lonely guy that was living on top of the mountain, a pretty social guy, but life put him in the situation that he couldn't have no friends because he was alone. So we gave him technology, we gave him a smartphone, we taught him about social networks, and we told him basically to post his life on Facebook. And people reacted. A lot of people started to search him on Facebook to see if he's for real, and they found out that he's for real. Started gathering fans. He reached more than 500,000 fans, so he became like a huge star. And people started a conversation. Okay, so they didn't stop in finding out if he's for real or not. They started talking to him. They started interacting and so on. And more than this conversation that they started online moved offline, because people started to go to Gina. Gina is the hometown of Ghiță, the place on top of the one. So they went to this place to see if he's for real. So basically there was a line in front of his on his doorstep of people wanting to meet him. And the guy met him, he talked to him, and so on. So when we saw that was happening, we encouraged it again. So we moved the conversation online again, and we created a tool so people can actually book a room in Ghiță's house, so they can go there and actually visit him. So it's very important to have this mixture of online conversation that moves offline, because you need a full circle in order to really engage people. So we managed to take stuff in the real world, to do an experiment with a real character, and everybody was surprised of this guy's story. And and as they saw the story building up, everybody wanted to be a part of it. Everybody felt the need to contribute, to get involved, to grow the story, and they did it in a very natural and organic way. I mean, again, imagine that this guy was featured in a traditional music video, that reached like 2 million views, and the video, the lyrics of the video were talking about his life story. I mean, about the fact that he's a shepherd and he has an amazing life in the shipyard, because he's on Facebook and he can post and he can talk to everybody, even though he's alone out there. So basically, the lyrics were telling his story, So besides that, the mayor invited him to open a cheese store in the capital. So he opened, he became an entrepreneur. So his life really changed, So I think it was an amazing demonstration. More tangible results. In the period after the campaign was the first time Vodafone managed to sell more smartphones than feature phones, which was actually the results that we were aiming for. Again, the network perception of Vodafone increased, and it was a big gap between Vodafone and the main competitors on network perception. That was like a great result for us. In each campaign, we are trying to do these experiments in which we give technology to real people, real Romanians, real characters, and then we follow up with documentaries in which we see how technology managed to help them overcome their barriers and basically change their lives for the better. And we have several examples in which this happened. Also, we did a campaign lately with grannies, because there are a lot of old people that are living alone in their houses. And what we did an experiment that connected two needs. Okay, so we had the old people living alone, and then we had the students that live away from their families, because they have to study in the big cities, and they crave for a home cooked meal, So we connected the old people that love to cook with the students that love to eat. Okay, so we did this experiment with two grannies. We taught them about social networks again, and we told them to post the menu for the Sunday lunch on Facebook, and to invite basically students to join them for lunch. If you have a great story to tell, and you find the right character, the right real guy to do it, I think it's amazing if you use it in your communication, because again, fiction is good, you can deliver a great film, but nothing compares to reality.